I'm Brianna. Today I wanted to get into the Thanksgiving spirit, and what better way than with a book tag. This tag was created by Jen at Prepare Your Shelf. It is the Giving Thanks book tag. In this tag there are 7 questions, each asking you to think of what you're thankful for in the books you've read this year. So, the first question is, name a book that made you thankful you live in this world and not the book's world. This one I'm stretching the read this year idea of this tag because I originally read this book in high school, but I did have to reread it this year, so it counts. And that is Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. This was the first dystopian book that I've read, and it remains one of my favorites because I'm not a big fan of dystopian books, but I am extremely glad that I live in a world where we have free will and creativity rather than a place where everyone is genetically engineered and then drugged to maintain social stratification. No, I'll take free will and hardship any day. Second question in this tag is, give thanks to a book that changed your perspective. This one is one that I've talked about before, and it is a bit of a heavy topic, but that is George by Alex Gino. It is about a 4th grade girl who is transgender. And this book made me question just about every decision I make in the classroom. Because I am an ESL teacher in South Korea, and I teach 3rd through 6th graders. So ever since reading this book, the idea has been in my mind that the fact that I have to teach these kids to use correct pronouns, as in he and she, and there's no alternative, or they're assigned what they are, and if they choose to say something else, it's taken as a joke. It's really difficult, and now I question everything that I say in the classroom. And while that's really hard, I also think it's really important, because if we just stay in our ignorance, then these kids are going to continue to suffer. And this book has definitely shifted my perspective a lot on issues that are an everyday for people and things that I need to consider as a classroom teacher. On a lighter note, question number 3, what character would you be thankful for if they were your significant other? This one I am going with a book that I read at the very beginning of the year. I'm going to choose the character of Hunter from Made of Stars by Kelly York. Hunter is just such a loving and devoted character, and he's always willing to help out his sister and his dad, and he spent all of his life helping his mom, and he's so concerned and worried about his friend, and it's just everything that he does seems to be done with the best of intentions, and he doesn't seem to do like the best of intentions road to hell idea. More of the best of intentions, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But I feel like even having a measure of that love and devotion that he shows to everyone else in his life directed towards me would be amazing. And there would not be a day where I was not thankful for having even part of that. And it also helps that he is not afraid to do some crazy shit, like just in the name of fun. Like, he's not like straight-laced and like tightly bound, stick up the ass kind of guy. He's ridiculous, and he goes on a race through a crowded mall. 'Cause why not? And you gotta have that in somebody you're gonna spend the rest of your life with. You need spontaneity. I do. So I would be so thankful to have him in my life. Number 4 goes the opposite route. To what character would you say thanks, but no thanks? For me, this book goes to a recently finished book and that is the character Jace from City of Bones. Now, I know this is the first book in a rather long series, and I'm sure that the character has some character development later, but as of the first book, he is so annoying and filled with attitude that I feel like he's the kind of guy I could hang with for a while, but there would be a very quick goodbye. Like, he's cool. I can hang out with you. I can also go my separate ways and be very thankful for that. So he would definitely get a thanks, but no from me. Again, I haven't read the rest of the books, so, but as of City of Bones, that's a very firm no. Number 6. Name a book that made you laugh out loud, just like your drunk Uncle Earl at Thanksgiving. For me, this is a book that I listened to on audiobook recently, and that is Lock and Key by Joe Hill. Now this book is actually 6 books, 6 graphic novels that were all compiled into one audiobook. So I actually listened to just the first 4 books on audiobook, but I listened to and read the graphic novels for books 5 and 6. So I have a little bit of both, and I loved listening to the audiobook because there was just, even when horrible things are happening, there will be at least one character that has some sarcastic remark that will break the tension and make me laugh. And it's brilliant. I feel like I love that balance of absolute horror and what did you just say? Oh my god. So I laughed both just listening to the audiobook, which I listened to while walking to and from work and probably got some weird stares for, but whatever. And I laughed while just reading the graphic novel. So I recommend both. Like, don't choose, just read both. Because they're both great and it's a great story. And Joe Hill is an amazing writer, as to be expected of the son of Stephen King. Good job. Question number 6. Name a book that made you incredibly angry, just like your drunk Uncle Earl at Thanksgiving. This one I am 100% cheating for, because this is a book that I did not read this year, but I haven't read a book this year that made me incredibly angry. I've been lucky that way. But last year, I read Across the Universe by Beth Revis. I threw that book across the room a couple times. I hated it. I hated the characters. I hated the plot. I hated the setting. I hated the writing. I hated that book. And it made me so angry. And I had a hard time thinking of what book to use to answer this question. And then I remembered just one scene from this book. And I knew that I was cheating. That this book was going to be in this video. Because I can't believe I could make an entire video just ranting about this book, but I don't want to because I've moved on. I've forgotten that this book exists, and I would be very thankful to never hear about it ever again, because I can't think about it without getting angry, and I don't want to be an angry person, so I'm just gonna close that and leave it behind, brush it away, moving on. 7th question for this book tag is not a question about a book, but a general, what are you thankful for about BookTube? And I am always thankful for the diversity of opinions that are available in this area of YouTube, because sometimes it feels like the whole Love YA group of booktubers is so loud it can drown out the rest of the people everywhere. But It's great to just find people who share my opinions or who disagree with my opinions for good reason. And I like that there are people who are able to have like these conversations. Like, this book is great, but there are these horrible aspects to it, or vice versa. And people don't just immediately write it off as, oh, you don't like that book, we can't be friends. Even though there are some people that would have you think that that's how BookTube works. There are other great booktubers who can just accept and have a discourse, have a dialogue about these books and the different opinions that we have on them, and not give in to the omnipresent yay YA. You might be able to tell from this video that I'm not a big fan of YA. That doesn't mean that I don't read it. Doesn't mean that I don't enjoy it. I just have a lot of problems with the genre. And I like having intelligent discussion about it. So, yay, BookTube! Yay! And that is all for my Giving Thanks book tag. I want to thank Jen at Prepare Your Shelf for creating this book tag. I feel it's really great in the season. I am not going to tag anyone because I feel a little late doing this video, because hopefully this is up on Thanksgiving, fingers crossed, but realistically it's a little late probably. Oops. Anyway, I don't think I have a question for you this week, so take your pick. Any of the questions in this video, which will also be listed in the description. What's your favorite? What do you think? How would you answer it? Or, you know, make your own video. Do it yourself. That's cool. Answer all the questions. Answer none of the questions. How's your life? I'm done. I'm very done. I'm sorry for being so done. Bloop, bloop, bloop. What? That's it. That's all. That's all there is. I will see you next time. Hopefully with more energy and less crazy. Bye!